justice for all.
We have all 5 board members present. Do we have any agenda items to table or remove?
I did not mark it, we did not receive any, so I need to remove M2. We had no resignations after publication. Other than that, we have everything else.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Mrs. King makes the motion, Mr. Reed will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do we have a motion on the minutes from April 15th? Mr. Hall makes the motion, Mr. Nelson will second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And we have the minutes from our statutory meeting also held on April 15th. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Reed makes the motion, Mrs. King will second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do we have any delegations?
We have none.
Next, we have recognitions.
We are so glad to have a couple young men join us this evening for some state honors. And it's good that their staff at Ritchie County High School was here to see them. It kind of worked out that way. First, we would like to honor Isaac Hodges. He is a junior at Ritchie County High School, a member of the Ritchie County Rebel basketball team. And he was today he is here because he's the first team All-State basketball. And I need to add to that, he's the first in school history. Also, wait, we can all go like this. And another honor he received this year is also worth noting. He was the 24-25 Player of the Year in our conference in the LKC. So I would like to honor Isaac Hodges.
Coach, will you join them?
Coach.
Come on, Coach.
Coach, yes.
Congratulations.
That's right. Wear your cool shoes either.
Yeah, you get the
You really look short tonight.
I'm a little bit skinny too. That goes together. And do you want one with your parents?
You should.
They should. Parents, come join us. Or family, whoever you want.
Get a picture.
You just want to be old.
You look good, Isaac.
Thank you. So big shirt.
Jackie, thank you. Get them all? Do this one? There we go. I'm short, don't you think?
Wait a minute. Pull your shorts leg down. It's bunched up there.
Okay, not everybody ready now. Thank you. Congratulations. And we look forward to another season, right? Next, we would like to honor one of our Mobtai students, Eric Liang. Eric is a senior at Ritchie County High School. He's in his 2nd year at Mobtai. He is here tonight. He actually studies at Mobtai coding, apps, and he's in the design program, coding apps and design program. He finished first in Skills USA in the state competition. He was in interactive game design in the team division. And he is our one student this year that finished first in Skills USA. So I'd like to honor Eric.
Principal Wells, can you join them?
Yes, Mr. Wells, would you join us? Congratulations. And Mr. Wells, we're going to picture taking all together. How's that? Take my glasses off.
You look good, Eric.
So before I let you sit down, can you tell us about what you all designed?
We made a game like not exactly sure how to design. How to explain it. It was just like we gave us kind of like a template, and we just kind of just designed it off that template. And we kind of like creativity kind of.
So you had to do it at the event?
No, like we presented it at the event, so like we created it like that off that.
Well, that's exciting. So do you get to go to more competitions from that?
We're going to like nationals
Mhm.
like in the coming months, but like I wasn't able to make it so they're youth alternate.
But you qualified to do that.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guests, you're welcome to stay with us, or you're free to go. Next, we're going to have our local school improvement council report from Ritchie County High School.
I'll give them a second because I know they don't want to stick around for.
Teresa, is that on?
All right, so just appreciate the board allowing us to come present about Ritchie County High School. We all believe that we have one of the best schools in the state of West Virginia, and I believe that our data proves that. And we're just going to talk a little bit about our school and some of our data, but ultimately show you some of the highlights of what we do within the school throughout the school year.
And can I say one thing before he starts? In front of you all, you have a sheet that we went over last week of some of the terminology that you will hear. So if you have any questions, please make sure you follow along. He will go over some cohort information. We defined what the different cohorts were. He's probably going to talk about promise. You have the rules behind promise in front of you, as well as the testing that the high school does and the definitions as well for attendance. So there's a sheet in front of you that looks like this. Please make sure you have that out so you can follow along.
And of course, there we go. So first we're just talking about our LSIC members. I am thrilled to announce that we have all but 2 of our elected LSIC members here tonight. You can see their names. So Nathan Scheit, Paula Summers, and Ellie Wyndham are our 3 teachers that are part of our LSIC. Our 2 service personnel, Kathy Rupert and Heather Riggs. We have 3 parents, Joe Morris, Kelsey Tebow, and Craig Mullen. Pam Ward, Deanna West, and Kevin Jones are our 3 at-large members, and then Owen Chesser represents our student body. He is our senior class president. So those are our LSIC members. What our LSIC does is we review and monitor our strategic plan. We review school procedures. We are also our safety and wellness committee, and then it's not necessarily a part of our LSIC anymore, but we continue to talk about our CT advisory council within it, because which you'll see our numbers here in a little bit, our numbers are so large that go to the multi that we continue to talk about our CT involvement within the multi and within our school. Our faculty, currently we have 28 total teachers. We like to have fun. We have a great staff, and this is one of our pictures from our Spirit Week this year. Ms. McGuire and I are both in our second year together as the administration.
This is our walkthrough data. So each week, Mr. Wells and myself split the staff and go into every classroom at least once a week. The cleanliness walkthroughs we do twice a month, and then a safety walkthrough once a month. So far we've done 792 classroom walkthroughs, 18 cleanliness, and 9 safety.
And to average that all out, we're meeting our 1 walkthrough per week for every teacher. We're meeting our 2 bi-monthly and our 1 safety walkthrough per month. A lot of this, what we're able to do is because of our support staff within our school, not necessarily teachers, but who else is involved within our school community. We talk about that a lot, is that it's not just the teachers, it's not just the administration that's in the building, it's everybody else that comprise the village to help us do what we're able to do. And this is just a snapshot of those that are here to help us, even though there's probably another slide that we could add for the people that are kind of behind the scenes for them to do what they do to help us out and our students to be the best that they can be. So currently, our enrollment, we are sitting at 321 students. You can see by the bar graph that our senior class is the largest class that we have, and then we continue to drop in enrollment for each class after that. So 88 seniors are on our list. We have actually 87 that will be graduating. One of our 88 has already received a diploma, but they're still included in our enrollment. And then we have 74 juniors, 78 sophomores, and 81 freshmen currently in the high school. So 321 currently this year. Last year, based off our October 1 enrollment, we had 348 students. So we have lost a total of 27 students within the year of our October enrollment from last year to this year. Actually, our enrollment, October 1 was 328. So this was actually, as of today, we're at 321. So from October 1st of this year, we have lost 7 students from our total enrollment. So part of our LSIC, we discussed the strategic plan and how they can help us to monitor what is happening within the school. Our two, all of them are important goals, but our two main goals is that we are focusing on our ELA and our math scores on the SAT, which is goal number 1. And then goal number 2 is that we want to improve our chronic absenteeism. So we want to have our chronic absenteeism before the end of the school year to be at or below 20%, which we'll talk about chronic absenteeism here in a minute. Number 3 is to improve the overall social, emotional, and behavioral outcomes. That goes back to that support staff that we have that helps out with that. And then our last one is to improve overall school effectiveness, and that's really just the administrative side of it. How can we make our teachers better and help them to do their jobs the best that they can? So from our fall, we take the PSAT, and the PSAT is also the NMSQT. NMSQT is the National Merit Qualifying Standardized Test. So every October or so in the fall, we give that as basically our benchmark because we want to see where our juniors are at the beginning of their junior year, and then they'll take the SAT in the spring. This year, our juniors are in the blue, so 68% of our juniors were at or met or approaching benchmark in English, reading, and writing, and then in math, we were at 30%. The gray graph represents the state.
Is your microphone
When I
on?
try to turn it back on, it says low battery.
So just leave it off. Can you talk louder?
It is off.
Okay. We turned
I
it.
think.
We turned it.
I think I can talk loud enough. Hopefully you can hear me. So, like I said, the gray bars are the state averages. I'm really proud of our juniors from the PSAT based off of this data because we require all juniors to take the PSAT in the fall. Not all juniors across the state are required to take the PSAT in the fall. Normally the ones that take the PSAT are the students that are high level, that are wanting to be college bound or be considered for the National Merit Qualifying Test. We require everybody. Our English, reading, and writing scores were higher than the state average. Our math scores were at the state average for taking that test in the fall. So for us to say that every junior has to take the test, but not every junior in the state has to, I think that speaks volumes from where they are with taking this test, and we're hoping that throughout the school year when we did our practice test and did some things that Ms. McBair is going to talk about here in just a minute, that it's going to show with those SAT scores from the spring test that we took.
So this is a snapshot of the Excel document, And over here would be all of the students' names. Of course, we've taken those out. And then this would be their total score. This is their English score, their math score, if they met the English benchmark, if they met the math benchmark. So it's just like a stoplight. Red would basically indicate that they were not yet approaching that score. Yellow would mean that they were approaching that score, and green would mean that they either meet or exceed that particular score. So we did this with all students who took that particular test, and then we used that information to create some SAT goals. So we presented every junior with this piece of paper with goals in mind for what their score was on the PSAT, and then what we thought their goal score should be for the SAT. And that to get the promise, you have to do multiple things, but one of the things that you have to do is you have to get a 1080 total score on the SAT. So, and then in your English, you need to get a 510, and in your math, you need to get a 510, and if you're good at math, you know that that only adds up to 1020, so one of those has to be higher. We presented all juniors with this. We signed them up for Khan Academy Digital SAT Prep, and we told them that if they finished it, they would get all of these incentives. So after the SAT, they would have had enrichment activities in the afternoon. Rather than go back to their regular classes, they would have an ice cream social after the SAT. They would get a free prom ticket, and if they met both of their goals, the next year when they came back, when we had their test results, they would get a reward then. Students met with Mr. Wells and myself 4 different times, for an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. We went in the cafeteria, kind of took over, and they worked on their Khan Academy at that point in time. The whole goal of that is to get them promise eligible in their testing scores.
So once we receive their SAT scores, we're going to take what their PSAT goal score was, compare it to their SAT score to see if they improved from the PSAT in the fall, to try to get them that next school year incentive to reward them for their hard work for completing their SAT prep, and for them to improve their test score for in the spring. So this one is a comparison of our sophomores and juniors. So both sophomores and juniors, we required them to take the PSAT and MSQT in the fall. And this is just really the side-by-side comparison of that. So just shows the junior class, which is in blue, compared to where the sophomore class is currently. For us, we look at that because we'll compare their test that they took in their sophomore year to their junior year as well. So we have 2 points of reference for when we're looking at reviewing their data. And this also kind of tells us where our sophomores are in relation to the juniors, because we can pull all these data pieces. We can go back to the English and math teachers to say, this is what we need these sophomores to work on to build up for their skills for the next year. So we'd like to put these side by side. And again, with the math, to me is a little more impressive with the sophomores to be scoring this high at a 23%, because some of the questions that are on there are upper level algebra 2, trigonometry, calculus, some high level math that they haven't even had yet because they're maybe only taking geometry at this point. And some of them may have not even had geometry or even taking this test yet. So their scores are promising looking for the next year.
Chronic absenteeism. So chronic absenteeism is defined as missing at least 10% of days in a school year for any reason, including excused and unexcused absences. 10% doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but this makes sense to me. Friday would have been our 150th day of school. So if a child had missed 15 or more days, they are chronically absent. That makes sense to me. In a 1 month period, 10% of 30, we'll assume they go every day just for clarity, that would be over 3 days. 3 days are over. Does that make sense? So last year we were at 21%. We currently are at 18%.
And again, trying to reach that goal of 20% or below for chronic absenteeism, so we try to do some incentives to get students to be at school so that we can keep our attendance rate, chronic absenteeism rate down before going to school.
So there have been attendance rewards. This is our March Madness attendance. So each first block teacher would go against another first block teacher, and whichever first block had the best attendance that week, they would move on. So like here's Mr. Bowie, and then Miss Owens and Miss Burns made it to the championship round. Some other things that they've done is random days of attendance. So that was what the raffle was. Miss Doak would hand out these little tickets and then pull one, and then if you had that ticket, if you, number one, remembered your ticket, and number two, you came to school that day, you could win. And then we had an Easter egg hunt the Friday before spring break. And then the grand prize was the popcorn machine. And the Easter egg hunt, see how excited all these high schoolers are to go out and look for Easter eggs? That's pretty cool. I don't think it lasted very long because, yeah.
It lasted longer than what it did last year because we did it in the gym because the weather was bad. And so this year we had it out in the back patio, so it spread out a little bit more. But the excitement to try to get them to find their Easter eggs and plus win the grand prize if they found the golden egg. It was actually funny to watch them. I mean, they were ready to go through the doors to try to find the Easter eggs. So this is our balanced scorecard from last year. Again, we're trying to be in the green and trying to be in the blue. That's where our ultimate goals are. So we look at these scores to again to improve for this year. So starting from the top, our academic achievement, and these are our SAT scores from last year. We are at 57.7% as meeting standards in English language arts, and in math we are at 37.9%. We had 0 English language learners, so there is a grade out because we didn't have any students that were tested for that. Our graduation cohort, so our 4-year graduating cohort, so that means the student that came in as a freshman would be graduating with their same class within 4 years. We were ranked 7th in the state at 97% last year. Our 5-year cohort, meaning that they came in, should have been as a freshman, but they took them an extra year to graduate. We were at 90.7, which again, we want to be in the green and the blue, so we're good on both of those. Our attendance rate, last year we were at 20.4%, and then our goal, again, we were wanting to be at or below 20%. The smaller the color that's in the box, that means the closer we are to going down to a different color. So we're minimal in red, which means we're close to being yellow for approaching or partially meeting the standards for attendance last year. Graduation, on track to graduation, we were 2nd in the state of West Virginia last year at 92.5%. And then our post-secondary achievement, which means what are our students doing after school, after they graduate, are they college bound, have they taken their college credits, or are they a CTE completer? We're at 63.7%. Again, from all from last year's balanced scorecard. We talked about student supports and what we're able to do for these students to help with these scores. Last year we had our summer school and credit recovery. This year we offered a credit recovery class to again try to keep students on track to graduate if they failed a course. That's one thing that's been great about block scheduling is that if you fail a class in the fall, we can turn right back around and put you right back into a class in the spring to keep you on track to graduate. You just lose out on one of your electives that you might have wanted to take, but it still keeps you on track to graduate. And then the credit recovery, if they fail a class, which we had a couple of students that we utilized that this year. We had enrolled them into a credit recovery program to where they could recoup 2 classes in 1 block period for them to get back on track to graduate. Our help labs are offered every day during the lunch period to where they can go in and get extra assistance for math, English, science, social studies. They are assigned to a teacher to go into that room. They can make up their test. That also helps us out with our students that might be chronically absent. If they miss days of school, then rather than the teacher spending a lot of time focusing one-on-one instruction with them in a classroom with 25 other students, now they can go to a help lab during that hour-long lunch and they can try to get caught up in. We offer the ACT and SAT camps. Each time we have one of these tests coming up, we'll have those during our lunchtime, and then we'll offer after school tutoring for those students. Khan Academy was something that we were pushing this year that helped with our digital SAT prep. We also offer college and career tours. If you're not in school, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you don't get just in this school just to go on these trips. You have to earn the incentive to be able to go, which has been a big change for us. We have a lot more students that are willing to go to participate. Our advisory, we switched it up this year. Mrs. Travers is meeting, or she had been meeting until she had her surgery, was out for a little bit, but she met with every grade level in an advisory every day during 30 minutes of their lunch period to keep them with seniors, telling them here are scholarship opportunities that you need to work on, college applications. And each grade level had a different task that she had assigned to them during that 30 minutes of lunch. So that was something that we changed up for this year. Counseling services, with Mrs. Everett being our social worker, she's been taking on that role of the emotional support that we have for students. Ms. Travers will help out as well with those, but between the both of them, Ms. Doak with our communities and schools, they take on a big part of that to help meet those students' needs for emotional support. We offer clubs, again, for something else for students to be involved with within the school. And then our big ones are attendance incentives. Nobody wants to come and take the semester test at the end of the year. So they show up to school, they know how many days that they had, that they're, we say, allowed to miss, but that they, before they can miss, to take a semester test. Extracurricular activities, if they miss too many days, then they may not be allowed to go to homecoming or prom. And then we also offer the attendance awards, where we have the surprise attendance day. If you're not there that day, you're just out of the running to get those. We've had students that have won laptops, the popcorn machine, just to name a few things throughout the year that communities and schools helps us with to be able to offer those incentives. Our college and career readiness, I told you that earlier that our CTE is a big part of Ritchie County High School. So the column on the left talks about our sophomores, juniors, and seniors, how many attend the multi. Last year was the first year that we allowed sophomores to be able to attend the multi. So now we're in our second year of that, to where those juniors are now going for their second year, where there are some programs that they could even go back to the multi for their third year to be another one-year completer, or continuing on with their whatever program of study that they were in. 21% of sophomores this year are going to the multi. Juniors, almost half of our junior class attend multi, where our seniors, there are 44% that are attending multi. Looking over at the college classes, 10% of our sophomores take college classes, but they're only allowed to take one, and that is college art appreciation. That's the only one that we allow sophomores to be eligible for to take, just to get their feet wet with some things. 29% of our juniors take a college class, and then 30% are taking college classes for seniors. So total, either going into multi or taking college classes, 74% of our seniors are in one of those two realms. And then we're looking at, what is it, 78, 9? Nope, I'm way off. Jackie's the math person.
Okay,
49 plus 29? 78. I was right. Was I right the first time? Yeah. Okay, 78%. Sorry,
Well, we were adding, I'm sorry.
78% of our junior class are in both, and then 31%. But again, that could be a combination. There could be more, 2 people doing both of those options. All of the college classes on the left are the classes that we currently offer for college classes, and then the middle column is on the multi programs. So some of those are going to be changing for the next year. So Mr. Hahn will give us that updated list as soon as we get that.
Chris, I'd like to have a printout of that.
Of this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get it to April.
Yes, sir.
And I'd love to see 20 years ago, the percentage you say is like 70-some% are in either college prep or a career path.
Yeah.
I wonder 20 years ago at Ritchie County High School, like, what that number would have been. I love it. I think we're doing great.
Well, 20 years ago would have been around my age.
So,
We're not talking about
Do you think we were at 25% of the kids you think went to, at that time it wasn't multi, it was
Yeah, the PRT, we had a lot in my class that went, but we had a lot of college classes too.
Yeah.
You know, we, college English 101, 102, and then we had college calculus, college algebra, but maybe only, we didn't offer as many college classes back then as what we offer now. This is the big deal, our Promise Scholars. And again, it's all based off of our SAT scores. Some of, I'm not gonna say most of them. A lot of them will qualify from the SAT that they took at their junior year. That they also have the opportunity to qualify with their ACT scores. So class of 2020-24, that was last year's 15 out of 79 students, which was 19% of our graduating class qualified for the Promise. This year, we're sitting at 18 out of 88 students that have qualified for the Promise. So 20% of our senior class has qualified for Promise, and we still have a couple that are going to be taking another ACT or an SAT to try to earn that, because they're maybe just a point off. So we've worked with some of those students to try to do some after school help and tutoring with them to try to get them up this past go around with their ACT. We just had 4 more students that qualify for that, which is included in that total. So 20% of a graduating class to qualify for Promise is outstanding. So to meet that, they have to meet all graduation requirements. They have to have a minimum 3.0 GPA, an SAT composite of 1080 with a 510 in English or math, and then an ACT of 21 composite with a 19 subscore in each of the other categories.
This is our academic letterman. So the requirements for a student to earn an academic letter, they have to have a minimum 3.75 GPA each semester, and they have to have 9 or fewer absences for the school year. To not take the semester test, you have to have 8 or less per semester. To get the academic letter, you have to have 9 or fewer for the entire year. Okay? So in the 12th grade last year, there were 17. So those are the seniors that have already graduated. 11th grade, so our current seniors, there were 14. 10 had earned their 3rd letter. That is the bottom picture here. And of those 10, quite a few of them will earn 4 at the end of this year. So, and then in the 11th grade, we had 14, middle picture. In 10th grade, we had 16. In 9th grade, we had 20. No, I said that completely wrong. I'm sorry. 10th grade is
The
middle picture. 16 there. And then 9th grade, 25 total. Somewhere in there, my math went wrong. I think the top picture is
Top
first
picture,
year
yeah.
academic letterman. So that could be any grade.
And for an academic letterman, first year, they were just like an athletic letter. They receive their letter their first year, and then every year after, and then they get an academic pen that will go on their letter. Then every year after that, they will receive a certificate and then a bar to go on their varsity jacket if they would like to put that on their varsity jackets. So again, this year we will have hopefully more than 10 4-year lettermen for academic letters. And that, well, I'll just say before we go on, that was all because of the LSIC. They were the ones that brought this up and thought that would be, this was years in the making for all that. So we're now in our, this is 5th year of us doing the academic letter awards, and it was brought up 5 years ago because of the LSIC for them to start this. And it's been a great recognition program for our students. I know that you all are tired of listening to talk about data. So the next slides are, what do we do well at Ritchie County High School? And it's just highlighting some things. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about the pictures, just showing the highlights that we've had so far throughout the school year. And I don't even have all of them because we do a lot of things to help support our students and that they are involved in. And we just wanted to pick out some of the highlights of the things that we went through. So Ritchie County High School, where it's all about learning. We had our FFA, went to the National FFA competition this year, where we had Sophie Lehman that was recognized for the 2nd year in a row for being National FFA Honor Band. Ms. Wyndham does a fantastic job with her recycling show. This one was in Huntington. This year we had one student that won first place overall, but all of the things that they're wearing are all from recycled material, and she does a fantastic job with that, and I know that the students are always excited when this comes around, so we're looking forward to see what she comes up with for next year. I'll let Jackie talk a little bit about the day of caring, because this is really her idea for this, and in my opinion, it's been one of the best things we've done this school year with our students, and we're going to continue doing that for them for next year.
So Rebel Day of Caring, the seniors were asked to find a place to go for 2 hours of community service. That was on our SAT school day. If they did 2 hours of community service, then they did not have to come to school that day. So some went to elementary schools, some cleaned up along Route 50, some others went to the Family Resource Network and helped with the food pantry, and it kind of, like, I got goosebumps when they came back and told me that they helped prepare shopping bags with people. They unloaded food trucks. They went and played cards at the senior center. Lots of different activities. Some of our seniors were invited back to the elementary school to read to the students, which was really cool to see.
This was a good engagement for our students to get out in the community, to get back. And that was the day that they went was the day that we gave the PSAT for all underclassmen. So we had all hands on deck with all of our teachers. This was an excused absence for them, as long as they provided their documentation that they worked with those within the community, do the community service hours. And again, we're going to continue to do that in the years to come. Oh, this is my favorite. Recreating the artwork. So Ms. Wyndham's class again. If you haven't seen them posted on Facebook, we just took the pictures from them. Just another couple of slides of theirs. She also took a trip to the Cleveland Museum of Art in the Stand Highwood Hall and Gardens. Our Travel West Virginia group, they went on one trip this spring. They're getting ready to go on another one. They're going to Weston to tour the insane asylum there. So this one is going to Wheeling. They went to a Wheeling Nailers game and took their picture in front of the swing while they were at Wheeling. Our theater production from the fall was Princess Capers, which our theater group has done a great job over the years. We're getting ready to have our second one that's coming up the second week of May, which is, I knew I'd forget it. Pride and Prejudice. I knew I'd forget it. I already read it. Pride and Prejudice will be coming up in May. The theater group also did a character breakfast up at the Harrisville Gym, which I don't know who enjoyed that more, the little kids or our bigger kids, but they both had a good time with that. Community schools helped with the haunted hallway this year before one of the football games. This is part of our college tours. We went to West Virginia Wesleyan, WP, went to the Washington County Career Center, and we also took a trip to West Liberty University. We're trying to rotate to where we go to some of these every other year to get different experiences with them. So our colleges are kind of on a rotation to where they're going to be going. Our college fair, having colleges across the state to come in, the students get to go and just pick up informational packets from those tables. We also had our career day, kind of the same thing, inviting various businesses in to discuss local careers. Just have to throw a plug in tomorrow. We're having Aviation that is coming in. That when we look at the list of people that are coming, we have a group from Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, and I knew I'd forget the other. Pratt Whitney. Pratt Whitney's coming in. They're three big aviation companies And from what I'm told, this is the first time that AV Nation, they do a tour across the whole country. First time they've ever been in West Virginia doing this tour, and we get to be the first host of that. We met with Tom Flavin this morning to get to tour the building and to get things set up, and he is excited to be here for tomorrow. So if you're able to make it, that starts at 8 o'clock in the auditorium for the presentation. Then we have we think a Black Hawk helicopter that's landing out on the practice field tomorrow. And then our sophomores and juniors will be meeting individually with some of these leaders within the company tomorrow. We talked about clubs being an incentive for students to come to get involved in school. Spirit Week seems like that's the highlight of the year, especially in the fall. I think our teachers have just as much fun with dressing up for Spirit Week as what our students do. We also had a Christmas Spirit Week this year before we went on Christmas break, where our teachers decorate their doors and have a competition to see who has the best decorated door. Our cooks got involved with the costume contest. Archery has become one of our biggest programs that we've had in school. We've hosted 2 archery tournaments this year. One was hosted at Harrisville Elementary, and then we hosted a large tournament. One was the targets, and Darren's, the targets, the blue, yellow ones, red ones there, that was in the gym, and then we had 3D targets. So the animals were set up in the commons area, and there were kids from all over the state of West Virginia that were here for that. It was very impressive to watch all of that happen that day. So if you have a chance to come to watch the archery tournament, our kids are excited about it. I believe our community's excited about it. There's just that growing across the state with archery, and we have a lot of participation within our schools. MOVTI certifications, again, these are just a handful. This isn't even all of our students that have received certifications at the MOVTI this year. And there are various areas, so we have welding, carpentry, there's certification from Adobe. Again, a lot of highlights for those students attending MOVTI. There was a host of leadership that was at Marshall University. Mel Molina placed second in the interview competition. Lily Pierce was second place in medical reading. And then at Skills USA, we got to recognize Eric Liang for his first place with his teammate for the interactive application and game design. Second place, we had a silver medal. That was the criminal justice tactical response. So we had 2 of those 4 students in the middle are from Ritchie County, and then Ray Campbell was a bronze medalist for internetworking. That was all at Skills USA in Fairmont. Our military signing day, we had 3 students that have committed to go to the military. One's really undecided as to where she's going to go, and I was actually just told last week during our softball senior night that we have a softball player that is considering to go into the military after high school too. So we may have 4 joining the military, but we had representatives from the National Guard, the Navy, and other branches that were at our military signing day just a couple weeks ago. Our band ratings, our band traveled to West Virginia, to Williamstown and participated in the Band Ratings Festival. They received a superior rating, which is the highest rating that you can get with the band. Even though they may be small in number, they are very talented, and they did an excellent job representing Ritchie County High School. Some things in athletics, we had our 2 all-state cross-country runners. Our boys and girls basketball team in the same year went to the state basketball tournament for the first time in school history. We had 3 wrestlers that went to the state wrestling tournament. We had 3 represented on all-state list. For girls basketball, Isaac was first team all-state for boys, and then Seth was honorable mention all-state for the boys team. So Chelsea Jeffrey was honorable mention girls, Ray Rupert was honorable mention for girls, and then Elsa Law, they came up with a coaches poll this year. She was first team in the coaches poll, but what we recognize as the Sports Writers Association is she was second team all-state in the Sports Writers Association for girls basketball. These are just some of our students. The student section, our cheerleaders at the state basketball tournament. And like I said, we have a lot more that we have done, and we have 23 days left of school to finish out the rest of the school year. So before I play my video, do I need to ask questions or
You can play your video first.
play the video? Okay.
Give us just a second.
Alright, so now you're up for questions.
Okay.
One of the questions I have, you talked about attendance in a lot of ways. Is attendance required for people to participate in sporting events, so students?
So sometimes left up to the coaches, like if they miss school for the day and they don't have an excuse that they can't practice for that day. Are you talking about like participation like in the event itself or like students that come to that too?
I mean, for athletes.
Athletes. So yeah, so if they miss school for the day, they can't come to practice. We ask them to turn an excuse in to the coach. If they've missed more than half of the school day, they're not able to participate in practices or events, unless extenuating circumstances that they would to let us know ahead of time that they had either a doctor's appointment, funeral, whatever, that we would approve through the office first, then also letting the coaches know. But otherwise, they have to be at school for half a day for them to be able to practice or play.
Another question. So is this your first year having
this is, it's not this,
Is it the third?
this is the third year.
Came during COVID.
Okay, so it's been a while. That means that you can answer the follow-up then.
Okay.
Has that been an effective choice as opposed to just two
Yes.
academic counselors?
Yeah. Having the social worker to be able to take on the emotional issues off of the plate of the counselor, because the counselor can then focus on the academic side, whether it be the scholarships, graduation requirements. Ms. Travers can kind of focus on that. She's there for extra support because she has her background in that too. But with Ms. Everett being there, she's able just to take really that load off of her, be a lot more available to students. It's been a big help for her.
Sorry, I think Miss Everett might have, more outside resources to pull in than Miss Travers would in Miss Travers' position versus Miss Everett's position.
Okay, another question, then I can open up the floor, right? So, you do cleanliness walkthroughs. Who do you do those with?
So Ms. McGregor will walk around both of us. We'll take Kathy, then a walk around. After we finish our cleanliness walkthroughs, we'll get copies of those and give them to the head custodian. And then Ms. Wagman will receive a copy of that to go through kind of like the checklist of what we see needs to be kept up. There's times that we say we do like an unofficial, we'll just take the custodians, walk around and say, here's what we're talking about when we completed one of them. This, we may not understand our terminology of something, or so we walk with them too. But most of the time we just hand Kathy the list of everything after we've completed that. That way she has that checklist to go over with those custodians. And once we get those things walked in too, because we're on both sides of it.
Okay, so the head custodian helps with the other, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. The number of walkthroughs for a classroom, that's pretty impressive.
Yes.
It's very impressive. I was going to say that.
Sorry.
Stole my thunder. That's very impressive. I know you're busy, but it's important to be in those rooms. For lots of reasons. You can answer lots of questions about what's going on, you know your school, what gets monitored, gets better, gets done, and the kids seeing you that way is good.
It's what we'd rather be. We'd rather be
Yes.
out and about in the building rather than being in our office on our computers, so it's nice getting out.
How many miles a day do you walk?
It's less than last year.
Wow.
Last year I would go home with about 15,000 steps a day. I think this year I'm at 10, so came down a little bit.
Mr. Nelson? Mr. Al?
I think you guys are fantastic. I love our high school. I think we take it for granted sometimes how great we are. So I appreciate you guys. I love what we're doing in our sports programs. I love that the archery program is great for kids that aren't ball athletes, you know. I love that program. On the career day, I love that. I participated in that. I was pretty impressed how many people and different companies you all had. And that was great. And aviation class, it's also paired with this event tomorrow. I think it's a great thing. There are a lot of great aviation careers up in Clarksburg in that area. And they're importing, people to work there out of state because they can't find qualified folks here in our state. So that's a good thing. And then the one thing I didn't even want to bamboozle you on this, Chris, but the one thing I would like for us to look forward in the future, in all the classes, is working with AI tech in all the programs. I don't know if you can have a class specifically on AI, but they use it in everything. And in 10 years, it's going to be in everything from art to software to, whether you like it or not, all the kids are using ChatGPT to write papers. So I think we should embrace, the proper use of it and things like that. And you guys probably are looking at that, probably. If there are teacher conferences that would help some of our teachers specialize in that, I think it'd be a smart thing for us. Because it's here, it's just
that's gonna be one of the new programs at the multi.
Yeah.
I think it's adding with that coding app.
Yeah.
I think it's coding AI and
Yeah.
game design is one of the things.
Yeah, I think it'd be good, I don't know how you can work it into other classes at the school, but it's the future, for sure. That's all I have.
I love how you guys do everything within your power to make your students successful, and I think it shows.
Yeah.
Good job.
Mrs. King?
I said it all.
All right, well, thank you guys very much.
Oh, we have,
I have something to say. My name's Owen Chester, I'm the student body president. I'm also a student and a child. And as a child, I have a lot of respect for these two up here. And I love our school. We do so much and have so much fun. But I have one problem. Last year we had more cooks than we had this year. And one problem that I've noticed, and I love you, Mr. Rivera, I'm sure you're a good cook. But Mr. Rivera has had to start filling in for cooks' jobs because we don't have enough cooks there to fill the positions when a cook gets sick. I went in to get lunch one day because I love to play basketball during lunch. So I'm hot, sweaty, and hungry when I want to get some lunch. And I went to go get some pizza. And when I got this pizza, it was raw in the middle. And sure, it's pizza dough and it's not going to kill me. But what if it was something else like chicken? You know? And that's something that I feel might need some attention looked into, is the fact that our cooks are overworking and they don't have the help that maybe they need. And I really appreciate Mr. Barrett stepping in and cooking in the kitchen for us, because it's really important to me that, and I think that's a big part of getting our students to attend school and having more attendance, is the food that we eat. We have chicken almost every single day now. Like, that's all we eat. And I love chicken, but at some point chicken gets tired. And so I just feel like to push on that, different food needs more attendance. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Chester. Thank you very much. All right, well, thank you all. You're welcome to stay with us the rest of our meeting, or you may go about your regular scheduled programming. All right, up next is the superintendent's report and academic updates. Mrs. Hawes.
So I'm gonna start with a couple of things, and the first thing that I want to state to you is that we received our letter from Michelle Black, which tells us that our 25-26 school calendar review was reviewed and approved. So I just want you to know that you will start seeing things come on the agenda, including today, of plans and things that we need in place for next year, waiting for that approval. Other things that you have in front of you, and I believe I gave that to everyone, you have a spring list that looks like this, and if you flip to the back, you have information about the play that's coming up, all the days of the play, the times of the play, and then on the front side, it has things that the board members also need to know, including when the graduation is, what time you need to arrive by, and other information including dates. So I've added the plays to that, I've added additional days to that, and any programs that are offered over the summer. So I just wanted to stress that again. And the last piece of information I have for you is your board meeting dates for next year, the accurate ones, the right ones. I had given out some last week that had mistakes in them, thank goodness we didn't approve those. And so this is your accurate list of days and it will show up a little bit later on the agenda to approve those. And I will state, I appreciate Mr. Chesser's input, but I also want you to know that I feel like that the ladies that are working in our cafeteria and a lot of the things that we get throughout this year has been that there has been great improvement in what we are offering in that cafeteria. If we look, a lot of good comments this year, phone calls that I receive. There will be times things may not be perfect. Sometimes it's the state gives you the limit of how many cooks you can hire based on your number of students. We meet all those requirements, but there are times we can't meet the requirements of the fact that we can't find employees. And so,
You mean subs, primarily.
so primarily, she only goes in when it is desperate and when there aren't subs available. So we could say, not only do we need bus drivers, we need sub bus drivers, we need sub cooks, we need sub custodians, and those do have an impact. But I don't want it to be left unsaid that a lot of the comments we receive about the cafeteria, I would feel bad about it if I didn't say that, because I receive, and I will state this, little pictures and videos of kids rating the cafeteria and the food that they eat, and a lot, it's been very positive. So I think for the fairness for the cooks, we also need to say that.
Agreed.
And we continue to strive to work on it to make things better, but I think that I needed to say that. Anything else? And that's all I have.
No, we appreciate those comments and have also heard a lot of good things about the cafeteria this year and the improvements they are making. So thank you for taking the lead on that and everyone else who's working on that. Any questions for the superintendent? Next, we have director reports. Debbie Beaver, Director of Student Support Services.
I apologize for bringing my phone up here. I have emailed myself and brought my laptop, and now my laptop's dying. So I'm bringing my phone so that I remember everything that I wanted to tell you this evening. Mr. Wells gave me a good segue. I wanted to give you an assessment update. Our SAT College Board assessment was completed April 9th, and then we had a few students, 5 to be exact, scheduled for makeups on the 23rd. Those are completed, and I received an email today. Students will be able to access the results beginning May 1st, and then teachers will be able to access those results to help students guide plans for next year, for example, because keep in mind this is for the junior class. On May 7th, we won't have a report for a little while that we're permitted to release in terms of how our school performed, but just as soon as we are permitted to release that, we will publicly. But they do have access to their results, and our elementary and middle school elementaries and middle school will be doing the general summative assessment. That's for grades 3 through 8, and they begin Monday, next Monday, the 5th, I believe. Yes, the 5th with English language arts will be on Monday. Tuesday will be writing. That would be on the 6th. Wednesday is the 7th. Wednesday the 7th is math, and then Thursday is science. That's for grades 5th and 8th only. Their parents, all parents of students grades 3 through 8 received a message from Mrs. Hott and emails that have their students access to a student portal, so that way within 24 hours after they've completed the assessment, they'll be able to see their individual child's results. It won't show things like school averages or things like that. It shows the individual child's performance on each of those assessments, and those will become available within 24 hours after completion. Students who are on alternate standards, that's our students that have significant special needs. their assessments are going on right now. They're over a period of time. I've asked the teachers to have those completed by, this Friday, so that they are not trying to administer the alternate assessment and the GSA. So, and I looked before, your meeting this evening, they're, 99% are completed, so it's almost all complete now. On your table, I shared 2 documents. They are newsletters that we received from the Cook Center. The Cook Center is a resource that's available to us from Huntington, and the West Virginia Department of Education provides this service to each school, each district, and each school within the state for a 3-year period. This year is the first year, and then there will be 2 additional years following that. You can see where it says parent guidance, for example, and there's a screenshot. Parents are able to access these newsletters, and they are posted on our website, and able to receive free guidance, free encouragement, free support. Sometimes I think of it as a, they refer to themselves as a parent coach, and sometimes I think of it as just a neutral party. Sometimes just saying something out loud that is bothering your child that you don't really know how to help them with. They are actually qualified, certified professionals, therapists and counselors who will give suggestions and support to parents if they enroll in that program, and it is free. Finally, last Thursday, I attended the federal program directors meeting, the regional meeting, and I'm going to read a little bit of what I've written about that, just because I had to kind of think about how to describe. There is something new that's coming out. It's referred to as a risk assessment, and Ms. Slott and I were talking about it, and it's risk of what? Well, we were just monitored in this winter for our federal programs, and this risk assessment is an indicator to know whether your county will be, need to have monitoring again in the coming year. And we fell into, it's considered low risk, moderate risk, and high risk of having to have assessment again or monitoring again. And we are in the low risk category. So that means that we will not have monitoring again. Yes, that's always not that, we intend to do anything that we're not supposed to do, but it's just a little nervous. It's like having company, you want everything to be just right. So, what they looked at, some of the things that they looked at were indicators around, our spending requirements for the various federal grants. Did we submit reports on time? Did I attend a sufficient number of meetings that they provided both online and in person? The total number of findings from our most recent monitoring. Did we spend all of the grant funds that were allocated? In other words, did we require a carryover application? You're not allowed to have a carryover within 3 years. So our last carryover was last year. So we'll be able to have another carryover in 2027, for example. So we're spending our money appropriately. We are providing the services that we're asked to, and submitting reports on time, and submitting reports and applications, grant applications have stopped at the end. So, those are the things that I had prepared to talk about. Do you have any questions for me?
And we're glad we're low risk.
Yes, yes, I celebrated that, yes.
That's good.
All right,
for your
thank you.
efforts. Thank you.
Okay, next we have the consent agenda.
I ask that you approve the consent agenda. It has volunteers for this school year. It is, I brought to you the AV Nation that they're having tomorrow at the high school. I did list that as a consent item. I have given you a sample of the athletic trainer service agreement that we're looking to go, to work with Camden Clark to get our athletic trainer. And then your board meetings for next year and a summary proposed schedule of school next year. I ask that you approve those as listed on the agenda.
The superintendent is recommending that we approve the consent items as listed on the agenda. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Reed makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We also have on the addendum another consent item, which is approving.
Consent item to approve a work-based experience for Ritchie County High School students effective for the remainder of this year. We hate to bring that to you late, but this would benefit this young lady because it will lead into, employment. And so I ask that you approve that consent item.
Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. King makes the motion. Mr. Nelson will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have personnel. We'll start with resignations.
We have a resignation of Anita Rogers. She's an elementary teacher at Creek Collins Elementary School, and it is for the purpose of retirement. And that will be effective June 30th, 2025. I ask that you approve her resignation.
We have a motion for approval. Mr. Reed makes the motion, and a second. Mr. Hall, is that a second?
I'm leaning forward, sorry.
I can see your finger. All
I
right.
was leaning as far forward so long my neck hurt.
Oh,
I was
no.
on the back,
Yeah.
sorry.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then we have employments.
I ask that you approve the employment of Carlos Molina. He is currently a bus operator. He's switching to a different route. And also Anthony West, who will join us as a substitute custodian.
Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. King makes the motion. Mr. Nelson will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, and we also have an employment on the agenda.
I ask that you approve Chris Newell. He was a bus driver for us, left in good terms, and would like to come back as a substitute bus operator. I ask that you approve him as a substitute bus operator.
Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Hall makes the motion. You guys do this in waves. Mr. Reed will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we will move on to payment of the bills in the amount of $472,139.27. Do you recommend we pay the bills?
I do recommend you pay those bills.
Do we have a motion for payment of the bills? Mrs. King makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we have financial requests for approval.
You received your supplements and transfers. In looking at those, your supplements were, they were all 3 state fund or federal, 2 state and 1 federal grants. One was for a professional learning grant, a special ed boot camp grant, as well as a truancy grant that we received. And that gives you the total of $47,267 total. And then in transfers, they're basic transfers of things that we've approved that just need to be moved to another line item in order to make sure that we have them in our accounting correctly. So I ask that you approve those. We also have the annual agreement, and it's with West Virginia University Cooperative Extension and the County Extension Service, which is our 4-H, approved. And then the next ones are for next year. Coaching payroll, attendance and substitute pay schedule, as well as our payroll schedule for the 25-26 school year, and also the dental insurance plan for the 25-26 school year.
All right, do we have a motion for approval of the financial requests? Mr. Nelson makes the motion. Mr. Reed will second. Is there any discussion? What is the amount of the extension? Okay, I was just double checking, because I thought we had talked about it
Yes,
sometimes.
it's 30,000. And we work with them, and that's correct.
Fabulous, okay.
And that's what was on the agenda. That's what was on the record.
And the dental, insurance is the same. I
Yes,
mean,
it's the same. It's just an extension, yes.
Any further questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. And next we have on the addendum a bus purchase.
Yay, another one. We're done, this is it. Would ask you to purchase a bus.
Alright, do we have a motion for approval as stipulated on the record? Mr. Reed makes a motion. Mrs. King will second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do we have any requests for agenda items for the next meeting?
I do have a question. What is, on the bus numbers, the first two digits, is that the year of the bus? 19 or 25?
One of them is the year of the bus.
Yes.
So the oldest one I've seen usually is like 2019 model.
Yes. By the time we get these, we've gotten some like in process, and our goal is to get rid of our last 2 or 3 oldest ones.
Yeah.
And then you will all be in, that's what we have.
Yeah, I like what we're doing. I always try to, when I see buses, I look at their numbers.
Right, I saw one this morning, the last number was an 03, so I was thinking that the first number must have been the year, because we probably don't still have an 03 in operation.
I hope not.
So if that's the case, it's definitely the first
Yeah.
number.
You guys are so.
Yes. Okay, any board member committee reports? Mr.
Well,
Reed.
Multi had their monthly meeting, this past week, April 24th. A few updates from it. Dr. Hawk provided us with the 25-26 school calendar. He also gave us an update on the SBA roofing project. Multi will also have a car show, Touch a Truck and Open House, which will be Saturday, May 10th at 10 a.m. The welding students will now be able to get the AWS accreditation, which will begin next year. Multi will be holding the National Technical Honor Society induction, which will be on May 2nd at 9:30. If it rains, it'll be on May 5th. And the middle school tours, he talked about are now scheduled. That's my update for Multi.
Very nice report we have.
You know, their schedule is pretty much matches ours, right? I mean, and with Pleasance and Tyler also.
So when he shared that with, Jimmy, can I answer that question?
Yeah.
When he shared that with us at the meeting, the answer is yes. There's one day at the beginning of the year that we don't normally send our students over until that Friday, so that one doesn't match. The rest of the calendar matches. They may have some faculty senate half days that we don't have, but he tried to hit at least one of our PL days, and so to me, it is the closest we've been in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a copy of it, and we compared them. We provided him ours as he designed him, as well as his, as well as St. Louis did, and that's a one.
Yeah, okay.
So yes, that's a good question.
And it's good to see Denny.
It
Well,
is.
thank you, I
Let's see,
appreciate
Jenny.
it. It's good to be here.
We hope you're resting well.
I am, too much.
Maybe Jenny doesn't want to rest, so make sure you rest this evening after such an outing.
I might will.
All right, our next meeting will be held on Monday, May 12th at 6 o'clock here at the board office. Do we have a motion to adjourn at 7:19 p.m.? Mr. Nelson makes the motion. Mrs. King will second. All those in